Hey there, so today I'm going to talk about how you can use this simple idea to allow you to play arpeggios all over the neck of the guitar. And these are actually shapes you can use, not just some random exercise. Not only that, but I'm going to show you why this is one of the best warm-ups because it affects every area of your playing, your picking accuracy, your fretboard hand strength, understanding the theory in the neck of the guitar, and your ability to play with fluidity. Now, this is an exercise that I actually use, and it's almost like a meditative way to warm up and relax your fingers and get in the flow before you play. All right, so let's get into it. So I'm going to start by showing you the two basic shapes, and that's all you need to know. And then you can play arpeggios all over the fretboard. So let's start with the first shape. It's the major shape, and it's just played like this. You start on the root, the third, and the fifth. So that's the G major arpeggio. This is the root, this is the major third, and then this is the fifth. And then the second shape is the minor shape, and I'm going to go up 2 frets and play that on an A here, and this would be an A minor arpeggio. So you've got the root, and then you've got the minor third, which is on the same string, but it's 3 frets up, and then you got the fifth again, which is the same shape there. So so there's 2 shapes. You got this shape where you start on the root is on the 6th string, and then you've got this wide stretch on the 5th string. And then you got this shape here where you got a wide stretch, and then you got your 5th on the next string. So there's 1 note on the 6th string, and then 2 on the next string here, and then the minor is opposite of that, where you start with 2 notes, and then just 1 note on the next string. The first thing you want to do is be able to kind of go through all of your arpeggios in one key and do that all the way up the neck. So if we're in the key of G major, it's always going to go like this: major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and then the last one is a minor as well, but it's a diminished. So I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so we're going to go major, up 2 frets, minor, up 2 frets, minor, up 1 fret, and major, up 2 frets, major, up 2 frets, minor, and then the last one, up 2 frets, is a diminished, which is like this. It's the minor shape here, and then it's a diminished 5th instead of a perfect 5th. So it's this shape here. Really cool sounding shape. Okay, so let me play that whole thing for you. So here's the whole set of arpeggios for the key of G major. So you've got major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and then the last one, diminished. And then play those going up and down like this. Things that I like to work on when I'm playing guitar is the idea of keeping your hands as relaxed as possible and really keeping your whole body relaxed, focusing on the sound that you're making. So it's almost like when you're practicing, it's almost like a form of meditation. And what you want to do is like let go of that feeling of trying really hard and then just relaxing and just focusing on the sound that you're making. And imagine that your hand is as light as a feather, and then just start to play up and down those arpeggios. Next, here's one of the cool things about guitar is the way the guitar's laid out. It's almost laid out in like 3 sets. So you've got the 6th string and the 5th string, the 4th string and the 3rd string, and then the 2nd and 1st strings. And you can use those like octaves. So if you learn something in 1 octave down here on the bass string, you can use exactly the same shape on the D and G on the 4th and 3rd strings, an octave higher. And that octave shape is this. So basically here's your G, and then if you go up 2 strings and 2 frets, there's your next octave. And you can play that exact same shape where you start on your root note, and then on the next string you've got the wide stretch. So you end up with a 2 octave arpeggio like this, and it's the same shape, just repeated twice. Okay. And then you do the same thing with the minor. So go to the A minor here. So you've got your root here, you've got your octave here, and then just play that shape twice. So you got 2 octaves. And then A minor, B minor, C, D major, E minor. And as you get up to the higher strings, you can switch your fingers to be these. Instead of using your pinky, there's more room if you just use these 3 fingers. And then the diminished one's slightly different here because you've got that diminished shape there. So you've got the 3 sections. You've got the bass, the middle, and the treble. And you can do exactly the same thing on the treble strings. There's one difference, is that everything's shifted over 1 more fret. So the way the octaves work on the guitar is you've got your root, your octave, and then the next octave is 3 frets apart. So that's a great thing to really practice. Even that's a great exercise. G, you know, take different notes and figure out where all the notes are. Here's all your C's. Here's all your B flats. Okay, so here's my upper octave, and you can use that exact same shape there. So you can end up with the 3 octave run like this, 3 octave arpeggio. And then you do the same thing with a minor, exactly the same shape again. So then run across the whole fretboard with 3 octaves like this. And then A minor, then B minor, C major, D major, E minor. I'm going to go to this shorter fingering here. And then I'm running out of frets here, so I'm going to slightly refinger the diminished. I'll show you like this. You can just ignore this one if you want, or you can play like this. Don't worry about that too much. So now let's try going all the way up, and we're going to go up and down on each one. So it's going to be like this. With each one. So the minor will be. So just relax your hands and just, you know, focus. Don't worry about speed. Just take it nice and slow. And I even like to, when I'm doing this stuff, it's helpful to kind of visualize things and to kind of see things in different ways. So I like to imagine things like, instead of picking and trying to play faster, I like to imagine myself as like a cellist or something like that with a bow, and I'm bowing those notes as I'm going up and down and trying to just get the most beautiful round sound from each note. So try going through. Really relax your hand. Last one. So that's all the arpeggios in the key of G major. Now let's talk about the picking a little bit. So basically you can just alternate pick them like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, like that. And that's good practice. Or you can use economy picking. And economy picking is basically up and down picking, but it's also where you will lead across strings with the most efficient way of picking. So when you're crossing to a string above, you might use 2 downstrokes. Or when you're going to a lower string, you might use 2 upstrokes. So for example, in this arpeggio, I'm going to start with the downstroke on the major, and then I'm going to do another downstroke as I cross to the 5th string. So that's an economic movement. 2 downstrokes. And then I'm going to do an upstroke. So that's the picking pattern there. You can use this down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And then when you reverse that going the other way, it'll be down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up. So that's the picking pattern. And then when you're doing the minor one, you can use economy picking when you're crossing between the two different arpeggios. So if you go down, up, down, and then do another downstroke as you cross into the next arpeggio. So you're going to go down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, like that. And then when you reverse it, you're going to go up, down, up, up, down, up, up. So you're going to start with an upstroke. So your picking pattern's going to go down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, and then up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So you can kind of work on that. There's different ways you can do it, but that's an economical way of doing it. And it allows you to kind of slide across that arpeggio like this. Create a nice kind of fluid sound. Okay, so basically just start practicing that. Like that. So, okay, so now let me take it to the next level and show you something really cool. So that's kind of like an exercise, right? And you wouldn't really necessarily play that in a song or when you're improvising, but you can use those shapes. Like for example, you know, using this arpeggio shape, if you start to play around with it and think of it almost like how you would a scale, you can make some cool sounding runs. But really where arpeggios come into their own is where you start to move out beyond just the basic triad shapes and add in sevenths. So if you take the same exact major triad shape, but you add in a major seventh, it's going to sound like this. All of a sudden you get this beautiful kind of like cascading arpeggio, and basically all you're doing is you're adding in a seventh. But what it does do is it opens up the picking pattern to being 2 notes per string. So all of a sudden the picking pattern kind of gets easier. So the major seventh is just 1 fret behind the root. So you end up with this pattern here. So it's just going from finger 1 to finger 2, and then the wide stretch. And then you just jump up an octave and do the same thing, and then up an octave. So the whole thing is this. And I use that arpeggio all the time. Then you can do the same thing with the minor, but this time you're going to add in the minor seventh. And this is really cool. You're going to take your minor shape, and the minor seventh is right here. So you end up with this shape here. So it's actually going across 3 strings. And then you do the same thing here. So the whole arpeggio ends up like this. A really cool sounding arpeggio. So now you can kind of start to go through the whole neck of the guitar using major 7 arpeggios and minor 7 arpeggios. I'll show you, it kind of switches around a little bit, but it goes like this. So the 1 chord will be like this. Then the 2 chord, would be minor. And then the 3 chord in the key of G would be B minor. And then the 4 chord will be C, and this will be a C major 7 arpeggio. Same shape. So it'll be this shape here. Now when you get to the 5 chord, 5 chords is not a major 7, it's a dominant 7 chord. So the shape becomes like this. You're basically playing a major arpeggio, but you add the minor 7th to it. So it's really cool, it sounds like this. So there's the dominant 7 arpeggio, that's super useful. Back to the minor 7 for the E. And then this is kind of cool, for the 7th chord, I'll actually play it down here. But you may not use that one very much depending on the kind of style of music that you play. Okay, so now you've got these beautiful arpeggios all the way up and down the neck of the guitar. And the thing is, this can work in any key, you know, so if I'm playing in the key of C, I'll start right here, and you've got your major, then your minor. And the thing is, you can move, when you kind of run out of frets, when you're going to your E minor here, you can start with your F down here and your G here. So the guitar just kind of cycles round like that. So you can just kind of, when you run out of frets, you just go down an octave down here. So basically a good exercise in the key of G is just to go through all your seventh arpeggios like this. And then A minor. C. D dominant 7. E minor 7. I'll do the F diminished down here, a half diminished. So those are really useful shapes to get to know, and obviously there's other ways of playing arpeggios too, like you can just kind of do the sweeping arpeggios. But I find this way of playing actually more useful for regular playing because it really gets it under your fingertips.